Hello. I want to show you one of my techniques. I don't know if you can see it. Pendulum. Right now it's saying yes. Show me no. Show me yes. And if it doesn't move at all, it's like maybe. And it doesn't know yes or no. That's what it's saying. So now there's a little ball, as you can see right there. And I don't move my hand. I don't direct the pendulum to go around in circles or back and forth. It just does. And um, the universe makes it go back and forth and around in circles or stand still. And I ask the questions like, are the viewers happy with me? It's showing yes. Do I piss people off? It's showing yes. Do they want to hurt me? It's showing no. Do I want to hurt them? It's showing no. Am I controversial? It's showing yes. Now, I don't have any special powers as far as this is concerned. You can do this too. Get your own pendulum. Cost me $7 on Amazon. This is pink quartz, uh, which is here. Pink quartz is used for love. It's a crystal. It's meant for love and healing love problems. And I got it because it's pink. Yeah, but yeah. And I used to use a cross. I used to use anything I can make that I could turn into a pendulum. I would do it with. I used to use the mask that we wore during COVID, and I'd take a pair of glasses and hang it on my glasses and hang it on the string of the mask and then turn it into a pendulum. I did that when I was locked up, like in jail or someplace I couldn't have my pendulum. And I don't need the pendulum. I don't need it. I do it for you for the visual, as you're seeing. It's saying yes right now, and that's the visual for you. I already have it in my head as far as what the answer. Do I need the pendulum? It's saying no. So, and I run out of questions to ask. And if this said, "Oh, the bank's going to crash tomorrow," no. But if it said yes, I don't know that I would pull all my money out of the bank. Not that I have any, you know. But it gives. It's more for entertaining purposes. But I did predict my friend using this system. I predicted my friend would marry a blonde, that he'd be married by the end of the year, and that she'd be pregnant with his daughter. And did I do that? I'm showing yes. Back and forth is yes. So now they were married New Year's Eve that year. This was in March when I did it. New Year's Eve and he didn't know any blondes and hated blondes. He wouldn't date a blonde. And I told her she would be a blonde. And um, New Year's Eve that year was on a Saturday, and or New Year's Day was on a Saturday, and New Year's Eve was on a Friday, and they were married in a small little church on Friday, New Year's Eve, before the end of the year, and she was pregnant with his daughter, and the thing is saying yes, and you know, he was shocked. He couldn't believe it. I told him, I warned him. They didn't listen. So, and I met a girl on a 917 dating app. There was no apps. There was no computers back then. This was like 1995 or something like that. And there was only you call a 917 number and you leave. The girl left a message and you would answer the message and leave a message and they would either call you back or not. Did I do that? Yes. And we met in a. We talked for like 2 weeks on the phone, and we met in like a diner in the city. I worked in the city at 23rd Street and Park Avenue, and we met in a diner on Park Avenue, and had lunch. And I knew she had a daughter, and that was it. So when I saw her, I told her after doing this that she had 2.5 kids, and her jaw almost hit the table. She had never met me before, and I know you more than she knew me. Well, you know me more than I knew her. So she uh, she told me, she goes, well, you know about my daughter, and I'm like, yeah. And the daughter was about 3, and and then she told me she had a full term miscarriage, uh, so that was 2, and then she had an abortion, so that was 2.5. And that's a great story, but it's absolutely true. And I did it with this. You know, I just asked if the girl had a daughter, and they said, yeah, and that's all she had. And it said no. She said no. And then I said, did it have 3 kids? And she said no. I was like, no, no to 3 kids, but yes to 2 kids. And then I asked 2.5, and it said yes. And that was very intriguing, and that's why I had to ask her when I met her what was the half. I didn't, I wasn't sure, but I didn't think abortion. So anyway, I never saw her again, surprisingly so. But so it does work. But like I said, it's not going to give you the lottery numbers. I wouldn't divorce my wife because it said something if you had a wife. But it's more, you got to think of it more as fun and games. Kind of like a Ouija board, but not with all the negative that goes with a Ouija board. And I never used a Ouija board, but it's just a little trick, a little fun thing. The church is against it. The Catholic Church thinks it's black magic kind of thing. And you can do what you want. I don't care. I'm not telling you to do it or not to do it, but I'm just telling you I do it. You know. And later on, in 2018, I predicted COVID. It was 2018. Now COVID wasn't until 2020. But 2018, I predicted COVID. I put it in a text, and you could look on the post on this YouTube channel, and you'll find a reversal of an appeal court where I was charged with harassment. I don't know why they charged me with harassment, but they said I threatened someone, and I was just sending them the information that I had uh, that people were going to die from COVID, and I didn't have the word COVID. I just had something was going to happen that was going to be really bad, and millions of people were going to die. I didn't know how, I didn't know when. I just knew it was going to happen, and it was COVID, and millions of people died, and it was bad. Everything came true. But by that time, I'd already been tried and found guilty by a jury and sentenced. And the prosecution had no case. The threat was really not a threat. So they had to lie. They had to manipulate the system and to get their verdict, to get their guilty verdict. But because they did that, I won an appeal. But I was just, and I didn't use this to predict COVID. I can do it on my own. I don't need this. Like I said, this is just a visual view. See, it's saying yes, and it's not for me. In the beginning, I did need this because I wasn't so sure of myself, but now I don't, and I use it but more or less fun, you know. Uh, I get internal and like gut feelings. Like a couple of videos out there that tell you trust your gut. I think is one of them, and you have to go with your gut. You have to really believe in your gut and believe in yourself, and believe that you could be wrong. Because, like I said, if they said the banks were going to crash, I wouldn't be pulling all my money out of the bank. Uh, but I would watch the market. I would see what the situation is, and maybe eventually I would pull my money out of the market, out of the market or out of the bank. But you got to remember that if the banks crash, everybody's broke. So you have and you having a little bit of cash isn't going to really help anything. You know, it's like when there's no water, having cash ain't going to help you get water. You know, $1 million won't buy you a glass of water when there is no water. So, you know, but just take it with a grain of salt. Have fun. You know, look, like I said, don't worry. Don't worry. Worry is for losers. You know, just try to live your life. I have a course. It's called Skillshare. It's an app I downloaded, and I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying I use it. I don't get paid to say I use it or anything. I don't get paid for anything. I haven't monetized this channel, but you can learn how to draw. You can learn how to make collages. You can make all different types of art. Learn on Procreate. Learn how to draw on your iPad. Learn how to draw on a piece of paper with a pencil. Well, mirage of different classes and things you can take. It's like $150 a year for the year, and you can go on as many classes you want, all day long. You can use any service you want, and if you want to renew it at the end of the year, then it's up to you. If you don't use it, I guess you won't, but if you use it, you might. There's new classes updated all the time. You can follow certain teachers. Any teachers you like, you can follow them. Anything they post will come to you. Uh, but I just do it to enrich my life, and I'm not a great artist. I never was a really good. I never doodled. I never really drew much in my life. But I'm I like to learn, and I've drawn a rose. I drew a, a bird, and they're not good, but for a first attempt, they look good. They look okay. I wouldn't sell them, but I wouldn't even show them to anybody. But you're learning. Nobody's first draft is any good. That's why it's a first draft. So just make yourself well-rounded. I mean, like somebody who gets an English degree and they want to write a book. What are they going to write it about? English? You know, I mean, you have to have a little knowledge of what you're going to write about if you're going to write a book. Even if it's a romance novel. If you've never been in a relationship, you have no business writing a romance novel. And if you're going to write an economics book, you have no business writing an economics book unless you have some background in finance. So it's just you're writing a book and people are going to listen to what you write, and you don't want to mislead them. You know, like I try to be truthful on these videos as much as I can. If I'm lying, it's only because I don't know I'm lying. I find out later on I was wrong, and if I can, I'll make a correction. But just it's just for entertainment purposes, and an English degree, I guess you can teach other people how to write, and not necessarily do the writing yourself. A lot of English teachers read a lot; they know a lot of books, and that's what they do in high school. They make you read a book and then write an essay, write a report on it. And I don't think that's good writing. I mean, it's good for high school. It's good for education, but I wouldn't buy a book of essays of somebody who read a book. You want somebody who lived it. And that's why certain people that are famous in economics and they write a book, everybody buys the book. You know. Uh, um, it's just you gotta have a little bit of skin in the game, and just I'm just saying, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if I know you're busy. If you're a nanny, if you're a daycare worker, I know you're busy, but you have to take time for yourself. You only get to live once, and any money you're making ain't worth it if you can't live your life. And you should read. You should do what makes you happy. If you want to sew, you want to draw, you want to paint, uh, you want to work out, you want to become fit, you want to lose weight, you want to become a good cook, uh, whatever. If you're a man, even a woman, want to be a car mechanic of some kind, or redo old cars, fix old cars, you know, that's fine. That makes you well-rounded, and there's nothing wrong with that. Uh, but make time for your life. Make time for yourself. Like I do with my Skillshare. I don't do it as often as I like. I try to do it once. I've been on a mission of trying to do one class a day, uh, and try to do it that way. Because each class, I don't know all the classes, but the classes I've taken, they run about an hour or a half hour. So you gotta be committed, and you just watch it and learn by watching it. And then I do it. Whatever they teach you, I try to do it on my own, and that's how I made the bird and the flower. So and it's not to their quality or anything like that, any way, shape, or form. But it's an attempt. It's an attempt. And I don't work. I haven't worked since '99, and I have nothing but time. I have plenty of time. So I might as well educate myself in whatever makes me happy. Uh, you know, and it's hard because a lot of hobbies cost a lot of money to do. Where you need rooms or real estate or a room to do the art in, a room to store the art in, and it could get complicated. You know, even if you make model airplanes, eventually you're going to be surrounded by model airplanes, and that becomes a problem. So I'm aware of that, and so life is what life is. My roommate's nuts.